Hey everyone, I'm Joe with the Smart Workshop. Welcome back. Today, we're diving into something really important, setting up Zabbix, the powerful monitoring solution directly inside an ARM Docker environment. Why? I felt it was really important to take a pause from all the building we've been doing and zero in on a crucial pillar of any infrastructure, monitoring and alerting. Because monitoring isn't just for big enterprises. It's vital for understanding your setup, troubleshooting issues, and ensuring everything's running smoothly. Plus, it's a fantastic learning experience. We spend a lot of time on this channel building really cool systems and services, powerful local AI tools, but how confident are you that they keep running, performing well, and are there when you need them? I no longer wonder, geez, what's up with my internet today? Only to find out like hours later that one of my DNS servers went down. I used to have this problem where like I'd flop down on the couch to watch TV with my wife, only to find out the Plex server was down. It's just embarrassing. A proper monitoring and alerting system will ensure that that never happens. You're always aware when something goes down and you can take action to correct it rather than notice it later when you need to go to use something. That is no fun. Let's face it, things break. And when they do, you need to know about it quickly and you need to know why it broke. Having Zabbix running in your environment gives you a super powerful platform for monitoring. It takes some work to set up and don't worry, I've got you covered there, but it's easy to maintain. All right, let's get into the deployment. I'm using Docker Compose for this, which is super simple. First, we need to clone the Zabbix repo from GitHub, and we're going to customize a Docker Compose file and do some light edits to an environment variable file. We'll define Zabbix as a Docker service, necessary ports and volumes to ensure it's accessible and has good durable storage behind it. Okay, so we've cloned the repo. We're taking a look at that file system. Now, when you pop into the directory where all those compose files are, you're going to see there's a lot of them. Well, what's up with that? The good folks at Zabbix have made this repository as flexible as possible for different types of deployments. My suggestion for this type of setup is to use the Alpine flavored one. So Alpine Linux, if you're not familiar, is an extremely lightweight operating system, like just a few tens of megabytes, very, very small. So systems that can run on that, this is a great solution for that. So we'll be looking at the ones that have the Alpine selection on it. Okay. Next, we're going to choose what kind of database to back it with. My preference is to use MySQL. It's a really good durable database. And then latest versus local, whether you're using the actual containers from the repository or whether you're doing a build local. So typically you're not going to do build local. So choose the latest one. Okay, what you're going to do though is now that you've decided which of those templated Docker Compose files you're going to use, you're going to copy that to docker-compose.yaml. Just run that command to copy that out. Now, we're going to need to edit that file a little bit further because there's still further selections within what we've already tuned that down to. So if we pop into that now docker-compose.yaml file and just scroll through it, these are monster files. So take some time to kind of digest what all is in there. But there's going to be things that you want to further refine so that you're not deploying a ton of containers that are just not used because they're duplicated. So for example, in this particular deploy, we're not going to do a proxy. So any references to Zabbix proxy, go ahead and comment those out of this file. We're going to deploy a proxy elsewhere later on in another video. We'll explain that later. We're going to keep this nice and slim. And then the web front end is still our last decision to make, whether or not you want the actual web front end to run on Apache or Nginx. My preference is Nginx. It's a little bit lighter. So go ahead and comment everything out that is related to web-Apache if you want to just use Nginx. These files change over time, so comb through there. If there's things in there that you know are really not going to be used, do a little reading on them. Hit me up in the comments. I can help you out as well. You can definitely slim this down to just a few containers as part of the stack. Once you're done here, go ahead and save that file, exit out, and we're going to make some lightweight edits to the environment variable file as well. So this is broken out into a few areas as well. Right on that base directory, you're going to see that typical .env file. And again, if you're a little bit newer to Linux, anything that is dot prefixed is not going to show up when you just issue the typical ls command. It's a hidden file. But if you do ls-alh, that's going to show you all files in a human readable format, and you'll see that environment variable file. Let's edit the env file. Now, these are just variables, so you can clean this up a bit if you want to tidy up and get rid of things that are not relevant. So things that you might have commented out in the Docker Compose file. This is a good place to kind of find those matching bits and get those commented out as well. Likely the most important thing you're going to want to check on in here is your exposed ports per service section. Come on down here. These are all the ports that the different containers will use to expose services out to your network. The one to kind of zero in on is the Web Nginx port that it's using. These are the ports that it's going to expose on. If you're running other web services on this particular host that you're deploying Zabbix to, that might conflict. So you might have to change that. It defaults to port 80, very common HTTP port. However, you might have something else running on 80. So you might need to adjust that to like 8080 or 8081, so on and so forth. The HTTPS components of that, I'm not going to cover that in this video. If you've watched a lot of my other videos, you know that I like traffic as a reverse HTTPS proxy, and that's what I put this behind. So I do run Zabbix service on HTTP, and then I terminate SSL through traffic. Search my other videos for a traffic video if you need a little help getting that set up, and I can make a follow-on that's specifically around Zabbix if you need a little help there. Again, hit me in the comments. Once you have those ports set correctly so that you're not going to have conflicts, you can go ahead and save your environment variable file. And we're ready to go ahead and deploy. So from here, just go ahead and do your Docker compose up-D and watch it pull all those images and hopefully deploy successfully. If you get any errors here, dig in to see exactly what it is. Maybe it's a port conflict, something like that. Check that environment variable file again, get it launched, get it going. The first time through on Zabbix, as is true with a lot of other systems, you're probably good to go ahead and just like go get a cup of coffee right now because it's doing a lot of kind of pre-setup in the back end here. If you monitor the logs of the individual containers, you'll see they're very busy. Once you're up and running, let's hit that web UI and take a look at like the default dashboard for Zabbix. With a default installation, likely all you're going to see in here is the components of the Zabbix environment itself, nothing else out on your network. It doesn't just automatically start crawling your network and populating things. We got some work to do before we get there. Let's start out right away by adding a new host. Go ahead and click on monitoring and then click hosts and click create host in the upper right. Let's just name this device my home server and add it to a host group. Next, we need to add an interface so this object is monitoring something. So under interfaces, click add, choose agent, and enter the IP address or DNS name of your server. Click the template field and start searching for the server type it is, whether it's Windows or Linux, for example, and it'll show you like the preloaded templates that match that search. This will let us monitor attributes tailored to this piece of hardware, such as CPU, RAM, disk space, things like that. You'll also notice that the by Zabbix agent wording in there, that's pretty important. Pretty much anything with an OS has a Zabbix agent package you can load up and configure. So it sends that data to Zabbix server or through a Zabbix proxy, which we'll get into later, to efficiently send system stats and metrics to Zabbix. Other devices such as network gear, printers, things like that have native support for SNMP gives you an agentless option to retrieve data from them. We'll step into some of those a little bit later on as well. If you made it this far, you're in great shape. Zabbix is a really powerful and totally free monitoring solution. It's completely changed the reliability of my own home lab network equipment and all the services that I provide and consume myself. You can also monitor things outside of your local network from this as well. For example, public-facing websites and services that are part of this channel actually are running in AWS for global content delivery and regional caching. I have a Zabbix proxy sitting in AWS that monitors all of that, so I know about website availability and performance. So it's not just monitoring stuff locally in the network, it can monitor stuff everywhere. Hey, go ahead and hit subscribe because I've got another video coming up on exactly that, and you're not going to want to miss it. We're going to build a custom template with a global variable, making it dead simple to add new website monitoring hosts in Zabbix in just a couple of clicks. And you'll learn a little bit more about how those variables work in Zabbix more generally. After that, we'll take this configuration to the next level, exploring auto discovery of devices on your network to automate the process of adding new hosts and setting up dynamic inventory. We're talking about making Zabbix truly integrated into your home network. After that, I'll show you how to build out a webhook-based alerting agent to push real-time alerts to a Nextcloud Talk channel so you don't have to constantly watch your Zabbix dashboard, unless that's your thing. But either way, if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more tutorials like this, and let me know in the comments what you'd like to see next. I'm Joe from the Smart Workshop. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.